How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited to see this particular match. I'm a huge fan of Tilea, and I know that she actually practices with Kawhi Rice. We got cast Kawhi Rice yesterday, and that was a fantastic series of games, and I'm looking forward to more of the same today.
Yeah, I think we'll continue on with that. This is going to be an interesting game. For those not following along, or perhaps you are, where we're at right now is we're in the winners round 3. So we're a couple stages into this series so far. We're no longer doing losers bracket for a couple of rounds. I think we might get back to losers bracket a little bit later as on, but we're back to the winners bracket, which I'm really happy about. The play has been good on both sides. Don't get me wrong, losers bracket's always good, but the action is always really, really high up in the winners bracket. This is where the risks are going to be taken, and certainly. This is where we want to be watching. Now, up in the top right-hand corner is Complexity's QXC, and they must be very happy with him. He's a consistent performer. He's a very, very good Terran player. He likes to harass and harass and harass, and that's how he wins, aggression through harassment. And then down in the bottom left-hand corner is Tilea. You're familiar with her. Could you give us a little bit of some info on her, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, so Tilea is a very, very talented player. She's played in WCS Season 1 for America and did pretty well. I can't remember who she played against, but she played against a couple of notable people. She is a race picker. She plays T and Z, just like Kawhi Rice. I know that in particular, Kawhi Rice and Tilea practice together. They're on the same team, which is Denial Esports. And they're both big fans of Creep Hatcheries. And so I want to see Creep Hatcheries because that was cool yesterday, and it's going to be cool today.
Yeah, he had some very, very decisive victories yesterday. Some extremely aggressive macro. What is it? 4 hatches before pool, and perhaps maybe something he's maybe something he stole off Cat's. Probably not. Maybe Cat stole it off of him or her, Tilea. And so Denial Esports, I'm sure, very happy with both of these players. And certainly Tilea is still in the winners round and winners bracket. Hey, and there's that creep hatch you're talking about.
There it is. I'm a fan. And actually, on this map especially, I like it. It lets you get started way earlier on extending creep on both main directions that your opponent will be coming from. That's very cool.
Yep, and a Reaper is working away on the drones. There is no Queen. The Queen's a long ways away. I don't think QXC knows that yet and actually takes off. I'm a little curious as to why. He should just continue to kill drones if he can. But do we see a follow-up Reaper? Yes, we do. It is going to be continuous Reapers. This is the harass we were talking about, and a very good expansion behind it by QXC.
Yeah, and QXC sees that creep patch, and if he sees that kind of early investment from the Zerg player, he should know that the Queens are a little bit delayed, but he's probably not that familiar with someone doing this. This is not a normal build by any means. This is not something you would see every day on the ladder. But Tilea is dealing with this Reaper aggression pretty well. She might... Oh, wow, she saves that last drone. That was very nice. Very well done. She's going to have a hard time dealing with these Reapers, I feel like, because her gas is so delayed. Her speed is going to be way delayed, so she's going to rely on Queens and Creep alone in order to deal with this. And with Reapers healing so much like they do, I could foresee her having some problems. But back in Camp QXC has expanded. His first command center, second command center is going to be finishing up in the natural planet on the low ground. He's going to be adding his reactor onto the factory, probably a tech lab on the barracks.
Yep, and Reapers are still working away on drones, on Zerglings, on Queens, and he's taking advantage of the situation. Tilea is not really phasing all that much. As we can see, lots and lots of drones are out. The Queen is still continuing to defend. One of these Reapers is about to check out, but ultimately does flee away. Their upgrade just recently, the combat drugs will take care of that and heal them up fairly quickly indeed. And as you can see, yep, a couple of Hellions out to continue on the harass train. That is QXC, and we do see a couple of Hellions moving their way south and to the left, as well as a couple of Reapers to help on out.
Yeah, this is a pretty common Reaper Hellion push, although there's a little bit less in terms of Hellions than I would have expected. Normally you wait until you have about 4 Hellions with the Reapers in order to go. But I guess this is an adjustment QXC is making on the fly because he knows there's no speed. You don't need to worry about speed links coming in your face like right away because of that way delayed gas by that creep hatchery. But here's 2 things we should know. First one is QXC put down a armory. We have Hellbats coming, and yeah, there's a starport. We're going to have Hellbat drops. The second is that Tilea has skipped Zergling speed entirely and in the favor of roaches. She's on 1 gas, Roaches, and she should be in a fantastic position to deal with Hellbat drops, really, with Roach Tech as her go-to choice.
No, absolutely, and Hellion's now working away on some of those creep trimmers, but Tilea, like you say, is still continuously being delayed. Roaches are now out. They'll help take care of this very quickly. And things looking actually starting to stabilize out. Let's just take a quick look at the economic tab. 40, I stand corrected, 50, about 50 workers. Now she's using them as she's going, so it's just throwing me off. Stop spending your drones on buildings. 47 to 36 workers as it sits right now. QXC a little bit behind on that, but it's fairly standard at this point. He's on 2 bases. She's on 2 bases as well. She needs to take a third fairly soon, and indeed does precisely that. She's got one about halfway completed. And Hellions are on the way. We do have a medevac in production, and also a couple of Hellbats. 2 are, I stand corrected, a good number of them already out. Now, they did update the game just a little bit, so as it sits, you can only load 2 Hellbats into a medevac, so we'll see how that works out as well. This one hatchery is just getting roasted here. Unfortunately, it's going to take a forever amount of period of time for these Hellions to be able to knock it down. Queens show on up to help address it, and they throw out some creep tumors as well to link this base together. Creep's starting to spread, but maybe a little bit, could be a little bit faster, but you don't know what, considering the amount of work that Tilea's had to do in helping to manage defense while at the same token being able to macro, creep spread's actually pretty good for 9 minutes and 30 seconds into this game.
Yeah, and realize though, as part of that creep patch's function, it allows you to speed up your creep spread by an obscene amount. And so normally by 9-10 minutes into the game, I would definitely expect these creep timbers to be farther up if there was a creep hatchery like this so early. But really, this is a testament to QXC doing a good job, just kind of delaying everything. But there's a Hellbat drop at the natural with Tilea, and it's doing a good amount of damage. But yeah, 6 workers killed so far, and it's moving into the main. There are queens, there are roaches, a lot more drones getting roasted, and there's no defenses in the main. The main mineral line has got to be pulled, or he's going to lose quite a bit more. Tilea is in danger of losing quite a bit right here, and there's still that push on the third of Tilea, and actually that's going to break through. Tilea is losing everything that she has over there. Tilea might lose this game as part of this push. There's not enough stuff to deal with the army. This third probably will go down.
No, it looks like it will. There's just a lot of meat and potatoes, a lot of Marines and Marauders. They drop buildings very, very well, along with supporting medevacs. A couple of the units, the workers do get out. Queens Roaches are coming as quick as they can to help take care of this. And quick pickup as well of the one Hellbat with very low health on that medevac. It's going to fly it across and get a bit of a drop here on into the base, but there's a couple of roaches here to intercept and take care of it. It does ultimately get mopped up, but 26 workers have been killed for Tilea. That is going to reduce the number substantially. 53 workers in the favor of QXC, over 40 for Tilea. That's going to slow her down a lot, unfortunately. And as it said, I mean, she still has a good number of forces. She has a good bunch of queens and roaches. It's enough to defend for now. The problem, though, is that by being behind so much, she's now going to have to spend so many more larvae on drones to try and get her economy back up and into the game. And I think with an answer to that is a very creative solution. And by way of that, I'm talking, hey, let's just take the gold in the center of the map. They won't look. Nobody ever does.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, I like that especially as part of this this creep hatchery play. I like it because it allows you, like, the creep hatchery allows you to have creep much closer to that hatchery and kind of allow you to take it a little bit safer. But there's at the third base of QXC, there's an overload moving creep. It's going to be shut down by Marine after a few minutes, but that creep will still be problematic. There's a push at the third of Tilea with Hellbat Marauder, and that's pretty much it against Roach Queen. And it should be able to, Tilea should be able to hold with the amount of Roaches and Queens that she has. But the QXC is going to be happy with the amount of damage that he's doing. Right now, the worker count is 63 to 57, and remember that before the Hellbat drops, it was something like 48 to 30-something from QXC, and QXC is definitely taking the lead in workers. But with that fourth base underway active gold, and it's gone up pretty much uncontested, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. If I'm QXC, I'm saying, okay, I know that my opponent is getting Roach upgrades. I know that means that there's going to be a little bit more immobile than my army. So I can do drops and I can try and punish that. But speaking of drops, here's a drop at the fourth of Tilea, and Tilea's going to come and try and correct that up. But hatchery is already halfway dead. This could actually get sniped. It's going to be pretty close. It's going to get sniped. It's going down.
Yeah, it's done. He's lost a couple of units, but really the trade-off is well worth it. Lose a handful of Marauders and Marines in order to be able to drop a hatch. Yep, I'll take that all day long. And it looks like another drop going on over into the natural. Like I say, this is QXC's styles. Continue to harass and keep pressuring and pressuring and pressuring. It's not like, oh, I'm going to macro up to this big army. No, sirree. He's doing a great job just holding things together. He's been able to push back this creep, be able to expand, continue with his production as we see defensive siege tanks up in his third, and also throwing out a small barrier walls to stop any kind of zergling run by or any other kind of military from being able to chase on up there. As we can see, workers transferring on over. Let's just take a look at the worker count, 71 to 60. So Tilea is catching back up. She needs to be a little bit higher. QXC's at that magic number of around 70 workers where you're getting the best return on investment, or you're getting lots of economy, but at the same time not sacrificing military cost and size in order to be able to have and you're not using supply inefficiently on military. And it looks like a little bit more drop action here by this medevac. I think this is just more to kind of poke and annoy Tilea than actually be a threat. There's just not enough there, but she's also transitioning her workers around, her units around to try and address any kind of additional play. There is a small force on the creep, so I think that's what pulled those roaches back, and they're going to get on over, but there's nothing to shoot into the sky, so these medevacs are able to fly around back. Meanwhile, a drop with a Hellbat, it does ultimately check out, and one Marine Marauder is able to escape inside that medevac, but is getting pecked away by the Queen. And we do have Mutalisks on the map, it looks like, as well.
Yeah, the Mutalisks were just added. Tilea said, you know what, this is ridiculous. I need to deal with drops. And there's another pure Marine drop at the natural of Tilea, and she's forced to pull drones, and she's actually retaken her fourth base at the goal. She seems pretty adamant about that. That's interesting. Normally that's something that people will do as well. If you don't scout it, I'll be ahead, but if you scout it, whatever. But if you're really adamant about that, maybe she feels like this is her ticket back into the game. That's pretty interesting.
Something I should note is the army supply. There's a fair bit of an advantage in the favor of Tilea right now. She doesn't have the worker supply, but she does have the military supply. 114 at 96. She has Mutalisks, so she's going to be able to defend that fourth much better. That rich mineral field is going to be so valuable. If she can hold on to this, it's going to work out really well. And I'm trying to drop the overlay. There we go. And but yeah, if she can hold this, she's going to be great. She's going to have lots and lots of economy, and she's going to be able to answer almost all the time because of the fact that she will have this huge surplus. And they are starting to develop a bit of a bank, but there's a drop, or rather there was a drop, but it has been shut the heck down. And again, Roaches and Queens helping to defend that. There's a good-sized force of tanks as well as Marines over on the right-hand side. Marine tank coming back in. I love this. It's an old Wings of Liberty build that's still pretty good. And Marines, Marauders, and tanks against Roaches and Queens is going to work out quite well. There's also some attack over on the right-hand side, but that's been mopped up very quickly. And it looks like that fourth, unfortunately, has fallen yet again. I don't know if she's I don't know if she should continue to try and hold that.
Yeah, I feel like normally Tilea takes that and she's pretty safe about it because her creep spread probably isn't as limited as it has been this game. But because it's QXC and QXC is so good at this game, she's been able to limit the creep spread and not overinvest. So she doesn't have as much stuff connecting the creep between her third bases and her creep hatchery and that fourth. And now there's a push from QXC and up that corridor behind the third base, and this could be very dangerous. Not a ton of AoE. Yeah, there you go. Tilea is more than bailing to deal with all the Marines, and actually there's probably enough Mutalisks and Roaches here now to deal with a good amount of the siege tank. Yeah, look at that. Tilea is sniping siege tank after siege tank. Both players are spending their bank as it comes in. But QXC has double expanded. He's taking his fourth and his fifth at the same time while this push is getting cleaned up. So QXC needs to worry about the counter push after this gets cleaned up to make sure that he can hold. But other than that, he's got to be feeling way happy about this.
Yeah, those expansions are up and running. Just taking a quick look at his army supply, though, there's a bit of a lead for Tilea right now, a 30 supply lead, which, if she can capitalize on it, will be really good. But he's definitely going to be feeling happy about this. With that fifth base up in the top left-hand corner with the planetary fortress, as well as the command center down in the right-hand side position, absolutely, he did very well. He was able to expand not only once, but twice during that engagement. Yes, he lost a lot of stuff. Okay, fine, fair enough. But at the same token, I mean, we do take a look out front. He's got lots more tanks, lots more Marines, plenty of medevacs to help move everything around. That command center is under siege by these Mutalisks, but they will take out, they will hightail it out of here, I think. No, they're going to continue to focus fire. Zerglings are going to address the tank problem, but unfortunately, sorry, I stand corrected, and reinforcements do arrive by the way of roaches and banlings, and then that entire military just got slaughtered. Supply is still very, very close, actually favoring QXC by about 10 supply as he pushes on down with reinforcements to try and push this back. And again, that Overlord throwing down some creep, and a Zergling also burrowed in there. Meanwhile, there is an attack on the left-hand side, and that is actually going to be spelling disaster as Marines do get picked up and dropped off into the natural of Tilea, and now going to get shut down by the Mutalisks as they rip that apart very quickly. 3-2 Marines, though, they're pretty well upgraded, and these mutas only have +1 air attacks as it sits right now.
Yeah, and man, I really feel like QXC knows what is up in this game. He knows exactly what to do, and it's very comfortable. Tilea has lost her 4th base repeatedly, and she's lost the 4th base on the left several times. She's lost the gold base, and she's had to pull drones again. That top left base from QXC has gotten up a little bit, although it is being cleaned up right now, but at the cost of a lot of Mutalisks and a lot of Mutalisk time. The supply does favor QXC. Both players have spent the bank that they were building up a little bit. QXC is re-expanding, is making that next command center after losing 2 right there. But neither player really able to secure another base, and this is problematic because, especially for Tilea, this is problematic for Tilea because Tilea does not have a good way to engage cost effectively versus what's going to be 3-3 Marines, because she is still on lair tech. She's on 2-2 with range and 1-2 with melee, and she's having to build a lot of Zerglings and a lot of banelings because she had to go back to this Bling Muta style versus Marine tank. This is looking pretty good for QXC, and it's gonna take a little bit of a miracle for Tilea to not end up way behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not enough here to really take care of these Marines and tanks. The Marines are so well supported on the ground by the tanks, but it looks like a big push here. Banelings are going to roll on in. A good number of Marines do die. I think this force is going to get mopped up here as the roaches continue to work their way forward, with so many units of Tilea actually getting killed off here. QXC coming out well ahead on that. Tilea was not able to shut that down. These tanks are just racking up the kill counts, 13, 11, 9, and 8. This is not looking good for her at all. She needs to pull something together, but at the same token, nope, she's going to GG. QXC is victorious, taking game number 1. I have to admit, I really do like this. What are your thoughts on how this game perhaps could have gone differently for Tilea?
Well, I think taking that 4th base in the center, I think that was a problem because she didn't have enough creep to do that. If she had taken a different 4th base that might have been slightly more defensible, it might have worked out a little bit better. But really, I mean, she played it as she could, and I think maybe she wasn't quite prepared for Marine tank on that map because she was playing to the metagame. She was going Roach Hydra, which deals really well with Marine mine and not tanks. But in the meantime, we do need to go to a commercial break. We're going to go to a really quick commercial break, guys, and right after that, we'll go into game 2 between Tilea and QXC. We'll see you right back here just really quick.